It's 2 a.m. and you're staring at your phone. There's the novel you started 3 months ago, sitting at chapter 4. The Python course you swore you'd finish stuck at 63%. That Etsy shop idea. The half-edited travel vlog from last summer. Your camera gear collecting dust because you moved on to learning music production. And that voice creeps in again. Why are you like this? Why can't you just be normal and stick to one thing? Here's the thing though. What if being like this is exactly what the world needs right now? While everyone's telling you to find your one passion and go all in, your brain might be wired for something completely different. Something that's about to become ridiculously valuable. They call it being M-shaped. And no, it's not another productivity hack or self-help buzzword. It's a way of seeing how certain people, maybe you, process the world differently, and how that difference is becoming less of a weakness and more of a literal superpower. Because here's what nobody tells you. The people who can't just pick a lane are often the ones who end up creating entirely new lanes. So before you beat yourself up one more time for having too many tabs open in your brain, hear me out. Think back to elementary school for a second. Remember when they'd ask, "Are you good at math or English?" Like you had to choose, like being interested in both was somehow suspicious. Then middle school hits, and it gets worse. You're either creative or logical, artistic or scientific, as if your brain came with an either or switch installed at birth. By college, forget it. Everyone's panicking because you have to declare a major, pick a career path, become the expert in one specific thing. And if you're sitting there like, "But I'm fascinated by psychology, and I want to learn video editing, and I've been reading about urban planning, and I kind of want to start a podcast about historical disasters," people look at you like you're broken, unfocused, commitment phobic, a jack of all trades, master of none. But can I tell you what's actually happening? Your brain is doing something really interesting. While other people are digging one deep well, you're mapping underground connections between multiple wells. You're noticing patterns that specialists completely miss because they're only looking at their one corner of reality. Scientists have this term, cognitive flexibility. It's basically your brain's ability to switch between different concepts, to see the same problem from totally different angles. And guess what builds cognitive flexibility better than anything? Genuinely engaging with multiple different fields. Like, Da Vinci didn't wake up one day and decide, "Okay, am I going to be an artist or an inventor?" He let those things crash into each other. His anatomy studies made his paintings more realistic. His art made his engineering more elegant. But sure, that was the Renaissance. Different time, right? Except, I think we're entering a new Renaissance, and most people haven't noticed yet. Real talk, have you ever felt guilty about having too many interests? Like there's something wrong with how your brain works? Okay, let me break down 3 types of people in the workforce right now. First, you've got I-shaped people. These are your pure specialists. They go deep into one thing. A cardiologist who only does hearts. A tax lawyer who only does corporate tax law. Nothing wrong with this, we need these people. But that's all they do. Then there's T-shaped people. They're deep in one main thing, but they've got enough surface knowledge in other areas to work with different teams. Like a marketer who understands enough about design and data to collaborate. One deep spike, broader knowledge around it. But M-shaped people? This is where it gets interesting. M-shaped means you've gone deep, genuinely deep in 2 or more completely different areas. And here's the key. You've developed enough understanding to see how they connect. Picture someone who's legitimately skilled in both neuroscience and music composition. They're not just making music. They're understanding how sound affects brain states, how rhythm impacts memory, how to literally compose music that changes how people think. Or someone who's deep in both data science and storytelling. They don't just crunch numbers and make graphs. They find the narrative hidden in the data. They can walk into a boardroom and make a spreadsheet feel like a plot twist. The shape isn't about being mediocre at a bunch of stuff. It's about being excellent at multiple things that create something entirely new when you put them together. Think of it like this. I-shaped people build really tall towers in one spot. T-shaped people build one tower with some roads connecting to it. M-shaped people, they build bridges between cities that didn't even know they needed to be connected. And this is crucial. The value isn't just adding your skills together, it multiplies. When you deeply understand both coding and human psychology, you don't just build apps. You build apps that actually work with how people's brains function. That's not 1 + 1 = 2. That's 1 + 1 = 10. Let's talk about why this matters, right now, today, not in some distant future. AI is eating jobs. That's not fear-mongering, it's just what's happening. And the jobs it's eating first? The purely technical, narrow expertise ones. If your entire value is, I know this one specific thing really well, there's probably going to be an AI that does it faster, cheaper, and without needing coffee breaks. Harsh, but true. But you know what AI is terrible at? Connecting dots across totally different fields. Understanding that a problem in business might have a solution that comes from biology. Reading a room and knowing when the technically correct answer isn't actually the right answer. That's M-shaped thinking. Every future of work report keeps mentioning creativity and adaptability and cognitive flexibility. Those aren't just corporate buzzwords. They're describing the ability to move between different worlds, to speak multiple languages, to see the same problem through completely different lenses. And that's literally what you've been training yourself to do every time you dive into a new field. There's something else happening too. When you study multiple unrelated things, your brain starts building these weird neural highways. You'll be learning about fractals and math and suddenly understand something about storytelling structure. You'll study music theory and it clicks something into place about coding patterns. Scientists call this associative thinking. It's how breakthroughs actually happen. Someone connects two things that everyone else kept separate. This isn't you being distracted. This is you building a completely different operating system than most people have. Let me tell you about someone we'll call Alex. Not a real person, but I've seen this story play out so many times it might as well be. Alex studied marine biology, genuinely loved it, spent 4 years learning everything about ocean ecosystems, got a job at a research institute. But Alex also couldn't stop making things, graphic design, UI work, spent every weekend obsessing over typography and color theory, felt insanely guilty about it. Like, I should be reading research papers, not watching design tutorials. Parents were worried. You have a good job. Why are you wasting time on this hobby? Alex felt stuck, split between two identities that seemed completely unrelated. Until one day, sitting in a meeting, something clicked. The Research Institute had all this incredible data about ocean pollution, climate impact, species migration, world-changing stuff, but their public-facing materials? Absolute garbage. Dense PDFs nobody read, websites from 2005, graphs that made your eyes bleed. All this vital information just sitting there, not reaching anyone. Alex stopped seeing biology and design as two separate things competing for time. Started seeing them as two skills that desperately needed each other. Didn't quit the science. Actually went deeper, but specifically into understanding how to communicate complex environmental data. And went deeper into design, but specifically designing for scientific communication. 2 years later, leading a whole department, building interactive data visualizations that made complex research actually accessible, speaking the language of scientists and designers. Translating between two worlds that had never really talked to each other. The problem became the entire point. All right, so if you're sitting here thinking, okay, I have multiple interests, now what? Here's the actual playbook. Step 1, get honest about your real depths. You might be curious about 20 things. That's fine, but probably 2, maybe 3 things make you completely lose track of time, where you'll read about it for fun. Where you actually want to get better, not just consume content about it. Find those. Everything else might just be casual interest, and that's okay. Step 2, find where they crash into each other. This is where it gets fun. Where do your different skills overlap? What problems exist right in the intersection? What could you build or solve that requires both of your areas of expertise? Psychology plus tech equals behavioral design, app development, digital wellness tools. Writing plus data equals data journalism, research communication, narrative analytics. Art plus environmental science equals climate visualization, educational content, science communication. Step 3. Build something at the intersection. Don't just think about it. Make something, anything, a project, an experiment. This is how you prove to yourself, and eventually to others, that your combination actually works. Step 4. Stop collecting, start curating. The trap isn't having multiple interests. It's skimming the surface of 15 things and wondering why nothing sticks. Pick your 2 or 3. Go actually deep. Say no to the rest, at least for now. Biggest mistake people make? Keeping everything separate. Being professional you at work and hiding all your other interests, like they're embarrassing secrets. The magic only happens when you let these things touch each other. Second biggest mistake? Apologizing for your range. Framing it like, sorry, I couldn't pick just one thing. I'm so scattered. No, you deliberately built this. Own it. Look, the factory era needed specialists, assembly line thinking, one person, one job, maximum efficiency. That made sense for a while. But we're not making widgets anymore. We're solving problems that don't fit into neat little boxes. Climate change isn't just science. It's politics, economics, psychology, design, storytelling, all tangled together. Same with healthcare. Same with education. Same with pretty much every problem worth solving. The future needs people who can stand in multiple worlds at once, who don't just know facts from different fields, but can actually think in different languages and translate between them. So if you've spent years feeling broken because you can't just pick one thing and become a normal person, you're not broken. You're not flaky or uncommitted or incapable of focus. You might just be wired for a world that's finally catching up to how you think. So here's my question. What are your 2 or 3 deep domains? Not the things you're casually interested in, the things you've actually invested in. And what becomes possible when you smash them together? Put it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what weird combinations people are building. And if this hit home, send it to that friend who also has 17 projects going and keeps apologizing for it. Maybe they need to hear this. See you in the next one.